Hello everyone, it's TGSF. So I always wanted to do a story video on Phone Guy but was prevented due to the lack of content. Phone Guy up into this point was barely a character and more so just a way to expose the story and game mechanic as a character. This was however recently changed with the release of the new book, the week before, where we not only got his name, but a lot of detail about his life, story, relation with Fazbear. Everything we could have known about is in this book, so today we'll cover everything we know about Phone Guy, to the game to this book. Ralph started out as psychology major at the community college, specializing in children's psychology, before dropping out. This helped him a little bit to get the job at the first Freddy Fazbear Pizza. Around when he had just started working here, his daughter, Capelia, was born, preventing him from working at night at that time. One of employee perks is family discounts, but for some reason Ralph never brought Capelia here. Not even on Bring Your Child to Work Day. He was mainly an instructor in Freddy's, helping giving instruction and trained performer and entertainer at Freddy Fazbear Pizza for Springblock Suit. But after learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous Springblock failures, the company has deemed the suits temporarily unfit for employees, which is why the classic suits got retired to an appropriate location while being looked at by technician. After Freddy Fazbear Pizza 1 close, in 1987 Ralph get transferred to the second Freddy Fazbear Pizza, giving info to the night guard. He also helped hiring employee for summer job. He interviewed people like Bronwyn Light, who he thought came across as smart, capable, and dependable, qualities you need to be a good security guard. She asked all the right questions, had all the right answers. Ralph thought if anything, she was too good for this place. Their first night guard complained about condition after finishing his first week, so they put him to day shift instead. They replaced him with Jeremy Fitzgerald and Ralph gave him instruction as usual, also told some small thing about him, such as the fact Foxy was Ralph's favorite character, and Ralph's dislike for the puppet, because according to Ralph it always thinking and can go anywhere. Anyways, after the first night guard night shift, weird things start happening to the location, and an investigation to the location happened which could close the location for few days. Ralph tried to assure whatever tragedy happened has nothing to do with the location. The next day thing got worse, mainly with the toys, who now interacted with the kids fine, but when they saw adult, they just stared. The next day, the building is officially on lockdown, no one allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees, probably referring to the first night guard, who was William Afton. In night 6 Jeremy come in when he wasn't supposed to, so Ralph questioned worryingly what is Jeremy is doing, as the place is closed down, at least for a while. They had a yellow suit spare in the back, someone used it, and since then now none of the toys are acting right. For tomorrow they had one more birthday schedule. So Ralph instruct Jeremy to wear his uniform, stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone. The next birthday, everything was fine, until the bite of 87 happened, which made big damage to the Fazbear's legacy. As Ralph say in FNAF 2 he'd take the night shift for himself, which he did. Ralph helped spreading rumor about the bite to save the franchise, and for that Fazbear Pizza made a pizza named after Ralph, called the Ralph, that only lasted 4 days since nobody was buying it. But anyway. It now time to cover his night shift, the week before FNAF 1. Ralph has been the night guard ever since the second Freddy Fazbear closed. He saw the animatronics move and know it the best solution to avoid them, but he tries his best to rationalize, even though on the back of his head he knows something is wrong and keep having ideas of setting the place on fire. But anyways, night 1 of the last week, Ralph leave his office from the right door. Ralph reach the dining area, making his way to the restroom, but he hear heavy footstep. Ralph thought if he made a break for it and stay low behind the tables, he might be able to reach the restrooms without being spotted, but he decide to keep waiting. A bit later the footsteps cease, and Ralph wonder if the animatronic is waiting for him. After several minutes, which seemed more like an hour, Ralph is pretty sure the coast is clear. It's time to make your move. Ralph arrive in men's restroom and shut the door. Both light don't work in it to Ralph to fix them. He replaced the first light bulb, and after that, he listened to the door again, and hear footsteps outside, moving much more quickly than Bonnie or Chica usually do, getting louder by the second. While Ralph was on the restroom, Foxy left his attraction, and he's on his way to the restroom right now. Ralph quickly hide and duck in one of the stalls and stand on the toilet, like he did in elementary school when he needed to get away from the mean kids. One of the reasons Ralph became a security guard was so he could help those who can't help themselves. Ralph imagined that he would be armed in order to protect and serve, but weapons of any kind aren't allowed at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Ralph dashed to the first bathroom stall but find that it's locked from the inside and secured with a simple slide bolt latch. Fortunately, Ralph had a paperclip. Ralph straightened out the wire and then bend one end of it up in a right angle. It only takes him a second to catch the knob of the bolt and slide the lock open. The door swings out toward him. He slip into the stall and pull the door closed. The door won't stay shut. The slide bolt is jammed now, and he can't lock the door. Foxy's footsteps stop right outside the restroom. Ralph pull a wad of chewed gum from your pocket and pick lint off it. It's still soft and slightly sticky. Ralph wedge it into the door lock and the door stays closed. Someone is there, waiting in the doorway. Waiting, watching, waiting. Somehow Ralph managed to remain perfectly still and eventually whoever it is leaves. Ralph quietly opened the door and look outside, and see Foxy returning to Pirate Cove. Ralph check his watch, it now 4 a.m. Ralph stare up at the second broken light bulb. We have this weird dialogue I will directly quote, you can't spell team without M and E. After the bite of 87, you heard some of the staff twist that around too. You can't spell team without M, E, A, T. You didn't much appreciate that. People deal with tragedy and loss in their own ways, sometimes with humor. But hey, at least it shows that they were listening during orientation. End of quote. Ralph replaced the second light bulb even faster than the first. The later it gets, the more dangerous it is to be outside the security office. He hasn't been watching the cameras, but he assume all the animatronics are walking around now. Ralph listened at the door one last time, then he sneaked back to the security office without encountering any more animatronics. By the time he got there, it's 5:45 a.m. I'll quote the next page. You're looking forward to retiring from this place, but you also just realized that this is the beginning of the end for you. You only have so many nights left at Freddy's, and that's kind of bittersweet. You're feeling a bit nostalgic and thinking about your legacy as the phone guy, so you decide to leave a message for the next person in this chair. Only this time, you want to tell them the truth, everything they need to know to make it here. Well, not everything. Management screens these messages, so you'll have to insert some strong hints. You don't remember the number for the voicemail system on the office phone, but this mobile phone has it on speed dial. You connect to the messaging service, beep.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about.
You run through the introductory greeting they always make you read and then touch on some important details, like how the animatronics will be on the move, and how to engage with them, or rather, not engage with them. That endoskeleton stuff, all the things they should really tell you when you sign up. The clock turned from 5:45 a.m. to 6 a.m. Ralph survived and goes home where he spent time with his daughter. For night 2 Bonnie's head fall off from him. I'll skip a full summary of the night and just go over some fact, but Ralph call his friend named Dave to help him. At 5:55 a.m., Ralph record the FNAF 1 Night 2 call. The night end at 6 a.m., and Ralph goes home and have time with his daughter. Night 3, while Ralph is talking to himself in his head, he hear a child laugh behind him. Ralph rationalized thinking he's just hallucinating. He checked the camera, and see in a camera for party room 2, and everything is messy in the room. A table and chairs have been overturned in party room 2, and there is a large dark puddle on the floor. The window in the far wall is broken. A crushed paper party hat lies in the hallway outside. I quote, "This is why we don't have more windows. Everyone always wants to schedule their parties in party room 2 because it has one of the few windows in the restaurant, but the moment you saw it, you knew it was a big security risk. Kids are always breaking it on a dare, though no one has ever gotten inside before. Ralph think about cleaning the room, but not before locating the potential intruder. Checking the camera, Ralph see both Bonnie and Chica left the stage. Ralph wonder why Freddy don't go out much. When the camera pans away from him and back, his head is now turned and is looking into the camera. After checking everywhere, the only place the intruder could be is in the kitchen. There's no picture, but Ralph hears someone banging around. If someone's in there with Chica, they'd better be hiding. Ralph hurry to the supply closet, and at point during the night, a newspaper shows, kids vanish at local pizzeria, bodies not found. Those poor children, Ralph thought, their poor parents. Entering the party room 2, Ralph flipped the light up, and the whole room is filled with what seemed to be, and smell like blood, so Ralph start cleaning everything with a mop. I quote, "If there's no evidence, it may as well have never happened." Ralph grab his mobile phone and speed dial backstage. The phone line rings on the other end of the dining area. The footsteps hurry off in that direction, giving Ralph time to clean up the room. He does it one more time to distract, but this time someone pick up. The intruder. Ralph thought. He almost forgotten someone else might be in the restaurant. Static crackles on the line. Ralph hold his breath to listen closely. All he could hear are the faint echoes of children's laughter. Then the line goes dead. The screen of his phone lights up with a message. Save them. Ralph then returned to the security office. At one point this same night Freddy leave the stage for the first time, and Bonnie, Chica and even Foxy start avoiding the place Freddy is at. Bonnie and Chica goes back to stage and Foxy hide back on Pirate Cove, like if they were afraid of him, but anyway. Looking at the backstage camera, Bonnie is in there, with a Freddy suit sitting here. Ralph is more curious about the Freddy suit on the work table, wondering if it's actually empty. Is Ralph curious enough to go check it? Well, now at 5:57 a.m., so maybe next night. Ralph does the usual, go home and now gotta take care of his daughter. Night 4, Ralph knows something is off as soon as he arrived for his shift tonight. Way off. It doesn't take a detective to figure that much out. Because all the lights are on at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, like it's open for business, only it's midnight. The animatronics are more active than usual, especially for this hour. They seem to be having a party in the dining area. Freddy is up on the stage singing his Clockwork Heart out while Bonnie and Chica are showing off their moves on the dance floor. Below, Bonnie is swinging his bass guitar around, and Chica is doing the chicken dance up and down the aisles, knocking chairs over. Even Foxy is joining in. He's dancing on the tables, crushing party hats and shredding tablecloths with his shiny metal feet. Ralph had to stop this. His best bet was to head to the breaker room and shut down the power to the entire restaurant, forcing their systems to reboot. There's a big problem. The breaker room is behind the stage, on the other side of the dining area. In sneaking through there with all the lights on without alarming Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, or Foxy would be a small miracle. So Ralph pace around the office trying to think of another way. Ralph keep thinking of a way to go. Looking at the yellow locker behind the office, then he noticed something new. Behind the lockers, a ventilation opening near the floor. He crawl inside and immediately face a decision, turn left or right. Ralph goes right, arriving to the breaker room. This room was unfriendly to human life. Exposed power conduits run along the ceiling and power cables, and wires dangle down the walls and from the ceiling. But anyway, Ralph pushed the buttons one at a time from left to right, then, one by one, the buttons turn green again as the system resets. Ralph quietly crack open the door to peek into the dining area. The main lights are now out. It now 5:57 a.m., so the night is now over. Entering home, Ralph get worried as he doesn't see Capelia in his room, worryingly searching the whole home. Turn out she was sleeping in Ralph's bedroom since she missed him. While she goes to school, she asked Ralph to stay home today, but Ralph refused. Just one last night, night 5, Ralph find the animatronics immediately. Bonnie is at the far end of the West Hall, heading toward the security office. Freddy is in the dining area, making his way down the aisle toward the security office. Foxy is halfway through the curtains of Pirate Cove, also probably on his way to the security office. He can't find Chica though. He swallow his panic. He glance over at the open right door and close the right door. Since it'd been a few seconds since he saw Bonnie, he checked the cameras again, but he isn't Ralph's main concern anymore, because Foxy is racing toward the security office. Ralph rapidly closed the left door, and hear a frustrated scream and heavy fists against the metal. The door shakes in the frame and vibrates with each impact, but it holds. Bonnie's face appears at the vent. He tilts his head from side to side and stares at Ralph. Ralph is surrounded. Ralph refused to go down without a fight. He's been dealing with these animatronics for 4 long nights, and he's so tired. Tired of being hunted and terrified, while he's just trying to do his job, trying to keep them safe. As Bonnie begins to emerge from the vent, Ralph screams and runs at him. Bonnie hesitates and looks up at Ralph, his purple eyes wide and mouth slack. When Ralph reaches him, he pulls back his right leg and kicks Bonnie in the side of the head as hard as he could. Surprisingly, Bonnie's head flies off. It hits a locker with a crash, then bounces and rolls under the desk. Bonnie's body twitches, crawls forward a few steps, and then collapses. Electricity arcs from the torn wires dangling from its neck. Ralph did it. He's safe. But not for much longer. Classical music coming toward the security office. Freddy. I'll directly quote from the book from here on, because it's an amazing passage, definitely not because of laziness. You cannot wait for this night to end. preferably with you seeing the sun rise on your way home to your daughter. The likelihood of that scenario is decreasing by the second as you hear Freddy Fazbear's signature music draw closer. It seems to be coming through the open vent behind you. You aren't even certain anymore that Freddy or the other animatronics obey the laws of reality. For all you know, he can just teleport into the office or anywhere else he wants to be in the blink of an eye. Maybe that's why he doesn't move around all that much, he doesn't have to. With weary resignation, you pull out the mobile phone. What you do next may be the last thing you ever do. It's looking like this is going to be your last night. It's some consolation that you will continue on in some way. Through your daughter, yes, but also through your legacy here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. You might even end up saving someone's life one day, through those recordings for the next person who will sit in this chair, whoever that poor soul may be. Do you have any last words, maybe something that could help succeed where you failed? Don't overthink it, you dial the number for the recording system and start talking.
Oh, hey!
You realize you never left a message for them last night. This will be sent on, what, their fourth night?
Hey, wow, day 4. I knew you could do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow.
Animatronics are banging at both doors. They're obviously getting agitated. They probably don't want you to make this recording.
It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor.
The banging gets louder and doesn't stop. You keep talking over it.
Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Will they do it? Will the next security guard return the favor and try to save you? Will it make a difference? You want to hope this isn't the end, but having lived through almost 5 nights at Freddy's, you know the deal. Your replacement won't understand what you're saying, or they won't believe you, either, until it's too late. Or maybe the animatronics won't even give them the opportunity to leave the security office. They're definitely more aggressive tonight, as if something has changed. Maybe you've changed them, through your interactions with them this week. Some legacy.
I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there.
A chime sounds behind you. What is that? You know, you turn around, thinking Foxy has rebooted himself, but then you see what's behind him. Freddy Fazbear. Something moans. Is it you? The animatronics scream. All of them. The doors in the office pop open and the camera feeds cut out. The monitor spews static and snow dances across the screen. The phone line goes dead. When you come to how, it's dark. You can't move your head, but through 2 small eye holes, you can just make out what appears to be the repair shop behind the stage. I'm okay, you wonder. Something smells bad. It might be you. It's me. Why can't you move your head, your hands? I'm not okay. All your choices have led you here, and now you're out of options. The only thing you can do is wait. The end. This is the end of Ralph's main story. I planned on covering the Night 6 ending before the true ending, but I think the video is long enough like this. I actually got a few character left, so I'll quickly end it here. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed, and comment your thought in the comment section. See y'all.